The taste of metal stung the tip of Jane Finch's tongue as she stumbled down an overbright hallway. Had she bitten her tongue when she, Gray, and her dog were herded from the base entrance by a group of armed soldiers? She'd barely glimpsed her parents before being swept away from them and shoved through a set of double doors and into some passageway. Her fingers tightened into a fist on Gray's torn t-shirt, while her other hand white-knuckled on Schrody's collar. Rows of fluorescent beams stung her eyes, and lab technicians flocked around her like white-coated ravens, coats flapping and faces obscured by gleaming black respirators. Beyond them, she caught flashes of military fatigues and the dull gleam of gunmetal. Everyone seemed to be talking at once, and it was hard to hear instructions over the ringing in her ears. The soldiers barked orders, and the lab technicians buzzed with what might be anticipation.
Right down here.
No sudden movements.
Keep moving, keep moving.
She sucked in a shaky breath and tightened her grip on her dog's collar. Not that it was necessary. Schrodinger had glued his shoulder to her thigh. The dog was making low grumbles that bordered on growls, and she couldn't argue. His hackles formed a line from his neck to his rear, the short, spiky fur a silent warning against her wrist. This sterile hall full of blank-faced masks and guns was the safety they'd fought so hard to reach? Gray's fingers flexed on her elbow. He'd taken hold when the soldiers had moved in and had refused to let go. Steady as always, shielding her and leading the way to wherever they were being taken. He glanced over his shoulder, mouth tight and broken eyes dark with concern. She tried to force a reassuring smile. Instead, her heart stuttered. I kissed him, and he's married. The floor seemed to tilt beneath her feet. Oh shit. Was this an earthquake? She stared wildly around at the technicians, but no one else reacted. No, not an earthquake. Just her small world crumbling beneath her feet. How are you married? She hissed. His eyes widened, and his shoulders lifted in complete bafflement. While he'd obviously remembered his name in the entrance, Jack, guess she needed to start calling him that, he clearly had no recollection of having a wife. Well, that made two of them.